Today on Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman, I'll be reading Isla's story. My father died when I was 14. I am the firstborn and I have 4 younger ones, all boys. Before my father died, he did everything for us, financially and outside the home. My mom has always been a full stay-at-home woman, to the extent that she did not even go to the market. My father did all the shopping, even for our clothes and other needs. He was so hands-on, you would not have believed that he was a highly placed career man. My mother was clueless about anything that went on outside. She could not drive, and she had no friends either, except for her 2 older sisters, who we visited from time to time. We were a very close-knit family, and my parents were evidently each other's best friends. Even in church, my mother did not join any society or have any friends. With this background, you can imagine what my dad's sudden death in a car accident did to my mother. She became ill and a shadow of herself. In fact, after the first week, I was afraid and I thought she would die too. She would not get out of bed and she barely ate. She had a slim, elegant figure, but in less than 2 weeks, she looked thin and gaunt. Being the only girl, I had learned so much from my mom. She did not go out, but she was a fantastic cook and homemaker. She administered our home so well, and I was her de facto assistant. She never employed any nanny, but at my father's insistence, she hired a cleaning lady who came in twice a week. Even though I was close to my mom, I was so different from her. I won't call myself an extrovert, but I have always been outspoken and very inquisitive. I always wanted to explore the world and to probe things deeper. At weekends, I usually volunteered to accompany my dad to the market in our area or to the supermarket when he needed to buy things he hadn't bought during the week or to do some major shopping. I knew where to buy most things and how to haggle with the traders. My dad was friendly with the ones he patronized anyway, so when I took on the task of going shopping for the family, all the traders were willing to help, especially when they heard of his demise. That was how I took up the full responsibility of running our household. My youngest brother was 5, and the others were 7, 9, and 11 when my dad died. It was very tough at first, but I soon developed a routine. I had to take care of my mother too, because she never really recovered. Even though I tried to understand her plight and I felt sorry for her, I was very angry with her too. I felt that what she was doing was selfish. I was only a child. She was the adult. Who did she expect to take care of us? We lost our father too, after all. However, I didn't dwell on my anger for too long because I found that it weakened me and distracted me from the work I had to do. So, I focused on what needed to be done and I got it done. We never really knew anyone from my father's side of the family. Maybe my mom did, but we didn't. His parents were both dead, and we never met any of his siblings except for one cousin who visited from the village once in a long while. It was Uncle Fred, my mom's immediate older sister's husband, who sorted out my dad's finances and benefits from his workplace. He was an accountant and he took it up and stood in for us. Because of my dad's position as chief technical officer in the manufacturing company where he worked, the company took up all our school fees up till university level. They even agreed to sponsor our university studies outside the country if we so desired. My parents owned the house where we lived, so it meant that the only thing we really needed to worry about was the monthly upkeep. And Uncle Fred arranged my dad's savings and investments, which thankfully were in both my parents' names, so that a scheduled amount got paid into my mom's account every month, and I used her ATM card to get what we needed. As can be imagined, I grew up very fast. I had no time for any frivolities. I had friends in school, but my close friends knew about my situation and therefore did not expect too much from me, and I did not care about what the others thought. I dug my heels in and I did what needed to be done. It was tough, but I just did it. My aunts and my uncle supported me whenever I needed adult intervention, but I mostly did everything on my own because they had their lives to live too. They arranged school bus services and school meals for us as part of the fees covered by the company, and that reduced the burden on me significantly. Mine was to make sure my siblings were ready in good time and to ensure that there were meals at home. They also arranged lesson teachers to help with my siblings' assignments so that I could focus on mine. And the cleaning lady continued to come twice a week for many years. I had to wake my mother to have her bath and prepare her food before leaving for school. We met her in bed when we got back, and that was where she spent most of her time. She did little or nothing except she was instructed to. It was as though a switch in her mind had been turned off and she could not think by herself anymore. I was in SS1 when all this started, and when I finished secondary school at 17, I knew I could not travel outside the country because of my family. My grades were very high. Apart from managing the home, I spent my time studying hard. I felt it was the one thing I could do for myself. I chose to study psychology at the University of Lagos so that I could go from home. I was very keen about exploring the human mind and how it affected behavior. I graduated from school at the age of 22 with a second-class upper grade. I am certain it could have been a first class because it was so close, but I was happy to be the best graduating student in my class. I opted to remain in academia, so I planned to go for my master's degree. With my uncle's prudent management of our finances, we were able to afford it easily. My immediate younger brother had left for the US right after secondary school under the guardianship of two older cousins who were settled there, and the others joined him one after the other as they finished school as well. They were all able to use the offer by the company where my father had worked, and coupled with the scholarships they received and stipends from the family account, they were sufficiently catered for. By the time I finished my master's degree, the last of my siblings was getting ready to leave, and I was finally free to live. But I was not sure how. For 12 years, my life had been tied to caring for my younger ones and for my mother. And now that they were all gone, except for my mom, I felt lost. I did not know any other life except being responsible. The only personal dream I had was to pursue a career in the study of psychology, and I was already doing that. It took a while, but I slowly began to discover myself outside being the carer for my family. I took an offer as a lecturer in the university in line with my goal, and I have grown steadily in it. I am now 36, and while I sometimes think about getting married, I recoil from the thought of taking on responsibilities again. Will I ever take the step? I honestly don't know. I have had several opportunities to travel abroad for work via fully funded research positions, but there is no way I can leave my mother. I am her primary carer. Her sisters are old, and I cannot burden anyone with that responsibility. I don't regret anything that I have had to do. They are my duties. This is the way my own life has gone, and I have accepted it. I don't bother to consider how things would have been if they had gone differently, because everybody's life is different, and there is no point crying over what I could not have done anything about. I have decided to live one day at a time and to take decisions based on the current hand life serves me. This is my own reality, and I embrace it. Any thoughts about Isla's story? Please share in the comments below. Remember to take a look around my channel for other interesting stories and valuable videos. Take a moment to like this video and to share it with somebody else. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Ciao!